By now, you've probably seen this video from Minneapolis, a woman being dragged from her car while driving through a protest against President Trump's immigration crackdown. She was arrested 2 blocks from where an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good a week before.
She was hogtied, arrested, and held at a detention center while on her way to a doctor's appointment. In January, Minneapolis resident and U.S. citizen Aliya Rahman says she was heading to an appointment for her traumatic brain injury when she got stuck in what she thought was traffic. But it was actually an ICE enforcement operation. And in just moments, well, you can see right here, Rahman found herself being screamed at, dragged from her car, and then detained. As she's carried to the car, Rahman continues begging with the officers to let her go, trying to explain to them that she's also autistic.
While it's tough to keep up with every case of U.S. citizens having their rights violated by ICE agents, and even more so with non-citizens, Aliya Rahman's case should stick out to you.
The occupation that we experienced in Minnesota was a very harmful, terrorizing occupation. It harmed so many people. It obviously took the lives of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. But there's so many people who are alive, who have to live with the damages that this administration has caused in Minnesota. And I think it is doable for us to abolish ICE and to go back to the drawing board to figure out how do we enforce our immigration laws, but do it in a humane and a dignified way. It is not okay, as Aliya was saying, for us to accept that law enforcement comes with inhuman treatment in the way in which we've seen ICE carry out their mission. And I do believe that Americans across the country are understanding that when the president and Kristi Noem say they are looking for the worst of the worst, the results have been that they have come after Americans just going about their daily lives. And those are the ones who've been terrorized. Those are the ones that have been killed in broad daylight. And it is not a justifiable thing for us to allow. And I do believe that my colleagues are seeing the writing on the wall, that this policy that the Trump administration is carrying out is not one that is sustainable.
Representative Ilhan Omar, a real fighter who legitimately cares about the well-being of the American public, brought Rahman along with 3 more of her constituents who have been directly harmed by ICE's terror campaign to Trump's MAGA rally, pretending to be his State of the Union address, which is when, unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse. It's wild that one of Representative Omar's guests, and Aliya Rahman, is treated this way, where, she stands up silently in the gallery during the president's speech for a short period of time, which, as Representative Omar points out, other guests were also standing, and you're forcibly removed and charged with unlawful conduct, and then handled aggressively, despite all the injuries that you already have. You're taken to a hospital. It really shows you how far removed we are from a democracy. And I'm glad Representative Omar's like, we need a full explanation, because that makes no sense. She stood up. That was her demonstration. She stood up, didn't say a word, and treated that way.
I was not just removed and arrested. I was arrested so physically that 2 other attendees upstairs attempted to intervene in officers pulling on my shoulders after I told them I have a torn rotator cuff tendon and multiple cartilage tears in both of my shoulders. 2 women in the gallery, and thank you to the woman in the white shirt with the red writing who said, I need you to take your hands off of her and just let her walk with her cane. They did not do that, and only when their own sergeant intervened in a back stairwell of that building to say, stop, we need to get her medical care and a wheelchair, did they stop tugging on me, while again I was saying disabled. The sergeant of arms told me it was because I was standing up, silently. No buttons, no facial expressions, no gestures, no signs, not one sound. Standing up. There are only 2 things you can do at the State of the Union, and they are sit down and stand up. All kinds of people were standing up all night, me too. I stood up at the moment that I heard this man say some of the most racist things I have heard come out of any leader's mouth about the people of my city, and continue to trash talk my state of Minnesota and glorify DHS, the people who did this to me and who are being allowed to roam free on the streets.
Make no mistake about it. Aliya Rahman was morally justified in engaging in her demonstration, especially in a forum like the State of the Union. Because at the State of the Union address, people are going to stand and clap sometimes, or people are going to sit. And occasionally you have people shouting out, right? But to voice their displeasure with whatever the president is saying at the moment. But all she did was silently stand up during a time where President Trump asked Democrats to restore funding to DHS. She's like, oh no, they don't need funding, especially after what they did to me and then other people. So she was well within her rights. She definitely should not have been treated that way. She should never have been arrested and handled that way for standing up. Didn't say a word. But I also believe that Representative Omar, made the correct moral and political calculation in inviting Rahman and her other constituents to the State of the Union, because she wanted to send a message that we're not scared, okay? We're not scared of Donald Trump and his bullies. We're not going to back down, and we're going to bring the people who have been directly harmed by ICE agents to the State of the Union so you can look them in the face and see their pain, right? And know that you're not going to be able to turn your head away from them. So I'm down with Representative Omar doing that for them.
The reason I stood up at that moment was not to disrupt anything. I was silent, arms by my side. I stood up because hearing this level of racism, I wanted to see with my own eyes, unmediated by anyone's lens, who had still come to this building to govern, if there were any grown-ups down there. Who really believes this lie that was used to brutalize our city, my body? And if unchecked, this is the lie that will be used to brutalize communities of color, all sorts of communities, as people in this country, as black folks, indigenous folks, as this has happened for centuries based on lies. Actually, the moment that they physically started removing me by my shoulders, all kinds of Republicans were standing up. I know they were Republicans because who was seated next to me? The sheriff of Coffee County, Alabama, and the mayor of, one of the mayors from Nevada. They were standing up. None of them were arrested. I was much quieter than them.
ICE is a creation of a department that was dismantled. And I think it is time for us to dismantle ICE and work on creating immigration enforcement that is lawful, that is humane, and that treats people with the justice and dignity that they deserve.
I cannot emphasize this enough. Democrats must campaign on abolishing ICE, not reforming it or we need to change certain policies. Must campaign on abolishing ICE in its current form while advocating for policies that directly benefit those harmed the most by ICE's violence if they want to take back the House and Senate after the midterms. Because if they don't, then there are going to be a whole lot of angry people that may sit out those elections that be like, oh, no, you're not doing anything because you're upholding the system. You clearly wanted to succeed, even if you may say things on the surface that sound good, but in actuality, they don't have any weight. They don't have any true merit or value. Like, oh yeah, they need more. They need body care. Come on. It's clear as day they don't need to be in existence. The way they're operating, they don't need to be in operation, okay? Flat out. Because they're harming American citizens, non-American citizens, left and right. Some cases are huge. Other times, we don't even know what's going on. They go under the radar. And it's all by design. So Democrats, if they are serious about getting the House and Senate back, abolish ICE. That has to be part of the script. That has to be part of their promises, right? Or their narrative when it comes to protecting their constituents. Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.